A lot of people are already bringing back the idea of reuniting the backfield of Zeke and Pollard.
Yeah, assistant.
Ouch. Who would bring that up?
Okay, yeah. Okay, why do we want to reunite Zeke and Pollard? He was the assistant, James Laurinaitis. Now he's the main guy.
He's the main linebackers coach?
Okay.
Good.
There we go.
Cowboys were 28th in touchdown percentage on carries inside the 5-yard line last season. Mm-hmm. And so everybody's going, hey, why don't you bring back Zeke to be that guy? You could get him for the cheap. Except do you guys realize that we're still paying him?
Yeah, $5.4 million, I think, right?
It's like I see $6 million cap hit for Zeke still. But the other thing is Pollard and how he talks about in week 11 is when he started feeling himself again after the injury. And Pro Football Focus has him graded as the best running back in football starting in week 11. So it's like, was he trending in the right direction? And for the right price, is it actually worth it to keep Pollard? Obviously, you don't want him on a franchise tag kind of deal. You don't want him really for a long-term deal. But short-term, small money, is Pollard completely off of your free agent board of I need to see a new face here?
No, I mean, I tried to bring this up to you guys probably like after the season ended. Like, all right, do you bring him back? And you gave us a bunch of the names that could be cheap options too. Like, I like Zach Moss because I think you draft a running back that ends up hopefully being your starter. But to start the season, unless you're taking Trey Benson out of Florida State in the second round, who I think is the best running back in the draft that I do think could start day one, everyone else, I think, is a tandem back until like maybe they prove that they can take over the backfield. So for a 1-year cheap deal, if Pollard wants to come back and I draft a running back that eventually ends up taking over for him, I don't hate it.
Man, that's crazy. They have him as the best running back in the NFL after week 11. It was 3-4, 3-7, 3-2, 3-1, 4-1. I mean, the best game that he had was 4-7, other than the Washington game and the worst defense in the NFL. Like, maybe he was the best runner that day on week 11 for one game where it was 13 carries for 79 yards against a pathetic defense. But, I mean, he had 27 yards on one carry that game. That was his second highest of the year, and he didn't come close to it the rest of the season. I guess they're saying the holes were so bad that Tony Pollard just kept getting hit like 1 yard after the line of scrimmage, and manager turned it into 3 yards. And that's how you grade it.
It's also why you take these PFF grades with a grain of salt. I mean, they said Brock Purdy was better than Patrick Mahomes on Super Bowl Sunday with their grades.
Okay.
So you don't have.
All right.
I mean, they're definitely not Bible.
So that's not like an analytic, that's kind of, there's more subjectivity into it.
I don't think they've even released exactly how they do all their grading.
Yeah, when it comes to the grading, there's some subjectivity to it for sure. That's not like a hard, fast number that is just, hey, this is what it is. Like his rushing yards over expectation being the best in the sport after week 11, then that would be something that you'd be like, oh, okay. Even though it was only 3 yards per carry for what he was working with, it should have been no yards per carry.
I mean, I just want the Cowboys to have a good running game. So if I'm wrong on this, that's fine. I think you had a player who was too slow compared to his previous self to get through the hole before it closed like he did in 2022.
Yeah.
I think maybe your offensive line was worse, but that's what it looked like when Zeke had the ball. In 2022, it was like, well, he can't get any holes because he wasn't quick and slippery enough. And pre-injury, Pollard was good enough to make poor offensive line play look sufficient. And I just want a young running back to do that again. Give me the guys who are so damn electric and young and haven't been beat up. They're just gone. Or they can put their foot in the ground and very quickly teleport themselves to the other side of the hole. It's hard to find those guys, but I know Tony Pollard isn't one of them. And I'm not willing to spend anything over minimum to keep him around. And Zeke, if you have those ideas, boy, you really need to start paying more attention.
Yeah, you're not bringing both of them back.
Okay, so you guys don't find that, you don't think the Cowboys would be interested in a reunion with either one of these guys? Do you think they're kind of moved on?
I think they'd be interested in a reunion maybe with Pollard for a 1-year cheap deal. I don't think with Zeke.
$6 million still accounting for the cap there for Zeke is heartbreaking. That was not something I was prepared for. That's a huge bummer. You're already overpaying your running back position. You don't even have a guy on the roster, really.
469, Dawson refuses to eat crow on Tony Pollard. Dude breaks his leg and isn't back to normal until the end of the season, and that's hard. And it's not hard to come back from a broken leg at all. But Tony Pollard made it look very, very difficult. And back to normal would have been around 5 yards an attempt. Hell, for half of 2022, he was over 6 yards an attempt. And in the final 6 weeks of the season, I guess he was the best running back in the NFL by Pro Football Focus's estimation. You don't have to be any better than 4 yards an attempt to do that, I guess, in today's game. But, man, I was seeing that guy in Green Bay like tear him up. He's getting like 130 a game. His yards per attempt are through the roof. He's scoring touchdowns.
Yeah, they were definitely better running backs towards the last few weeks of the season.
But, I mean, when you think about, Kyren Williams, and who's the name that you dropped?
Aaron
Jones.
Aaron Jones for Green Bay. I mean, let's at least give some credit to the fact that you have wizard play callers and play designers. And McSex is dialing it up when it comes to schematically and hitting you with different things from a rushing attack standpoint. You didn't, and you have that in Green Bay, too, with LaFleur. You do not have that here.
I like it. Yeah, we need a scheme and a runner, and maybe just the scheme would do it. Hell, if they really believe that Tony Pollard has all that wiggle and juice, then don't let him go. You know, if you think he is essentially the same player now, you got to keep that guy. If it's all the offensive line and because Tony Pollard was a massive difference maker. I thought he was the second best runner after Christian McCaffrey in 2022.
Yeah, he absolutely was.
Yeah, give him $8 million, bring him back.
Scheme and actual talent on the offensive line matters more than who's in the backfield.
Got it.